How important is public disclosure with state employees? I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Local Edition. With me this hour is Delaware State Representative Tom Kovach. Thanks so much for being with us.
My pleasure, Jill.
We're talking about a few different issues related to disclosure and to who actually gets employment at the state level. Let's first start by talking about table games and jobs related to this new business coming into Delaware.
Absolutely. House Bill 310 creates and enables and specifically creates the setup for us to allow our 3 operating racinos to implement table games of various sorts. In that bill and incorporated with the oversight of these table games are state positions necessitated, one in the Attorney General's office, a few in the Office of Homeland Security, and the rest in the Office of the Lottery. Now, these are a maximum of 40 state positions, but we're creating state positions at a time that I and others are working, to try to trim state government. And, we've just cut the state employee payroll 2.5% for every state employee last year. So I figured, among others, I said, why don't we limit these new positions? Well, no legislators or their immediate family from occupying these newly created 40 state positions out of, 30,000 state positions. So I thought that was a good government measure, and I ran it as an amendment to the table game bill.
And then what was the outcome? Because there wasn't a large amount of support for this amendment.
Unfortunately not. I think people got caught up in the family members and the extent of their family members, and people were a little bothered by the fact that maybe their daughter or their parents would be precluded from these positions. But it didn't affect the merit system. What it did is send a message to our constituents and our fellow state employees that said at a time that we're going through unprecedented economic position here, shrinking state government 2 years, state budget 2 years in a row, trying to shrink the state government, we have to do this small increase. We'll send the message that says we're not going to occupy those, our families won't occupy those, no cronyism, no nepotism, and send that message. But it wasn't successful.
Okay, so let's go back a little bit and talk about House Bill 20, something that happened earlier on in the session. Where does this stand, and how would it impact disclosure, not necessarily preclude people from taking a certain position, but impact disclosure of information?
Well, absolutely. It kind of, as a concession, the opponents of this measure that I was offering was brought up on the floor, House Bill 20. House Bill 20 was introduced some time ago in the House last legislative year. What it requires is disclosure. We have, as public officials, we have to disclose our positions. This would actually enlarge that. So we would have to make a public disclosure of not only our positions within state government and boards, but our families' positions as well. There would be no prohibition against family members occupying these positions, but we'd at least be disclosing to our constituents where our family members are employed and to see if that bothered people or not.
Now, why would that be an important step? Because your family members aren't the ones running for elective office.
Well, that's right. But there has been, and probably will continue to be, this appearance of impropriety. And what we want to do is we want to try to get rid of that appearance of impropriety. That's why the amendment to the table games bill was offered. But disclosure, transparency, these are new key catchphrases and catchwords. Unless we as legislators take the first step and make our books open to the public, how can we really be championing transparency? And I think it's very important. And I've talked to many constituents who would be very satisfied to know that we are not hiding anything. And I think it sends an important message. Your elected officials are, to take that voluntary step of running for elected office, are fully and ably disclosing everything in their jobs and their immediate family.
And just have it all out on the table.
Have it all out on the table and have real transparency.
All right, please come back and give us an update and let us know if this does move forward.
Will do.
Thank you
very
so much. We've been talking with Delaware State Representative Tom Kovach. I'm Jill Horner for Comcast Local Edition.